Here we are about 6,000 years after the creation. And rock from the lava dome was dated, various samples, using the potassium-argon dating method. And people got anywhere from 350,000 years to 2.8 million years old.
Wow, and it was only 1980.
Well, yes, and the rocks at the time were about 10 years old.
Guys, I had a video that did really well with John Lennox explain the creation of the world. He's an old Earth advocate, but now people are requesting me to watch a young Earth advocate. So we're gonna see how they explain this. Let's get into it because I'm really interested and excited to see what he has to say.
How old is the Earth?
Okay, so let's apply that principle. The historical record actually tells us.
Yep.
Tells us that God created everything in 6 days. Adam was created on the 6th day of creation. It tells us that Adam was 130 years old when his son Seth was born, and Seth was 105 when his son Enos was born, and they're all the way down to Noah. And it says in the 600th year of Noah's life, the flood took place. You can just add those numbers up. They're all there in Genesis chapter 5.
Yep.
You don't have to be a rocket scientist to do it. It's straightforward. In fact, I get my grandchildren to do it as an exercise when they get to their 10th birthday. I'll sit down and we build a timeline of Bible history.
Wow.
And you'll discover that the flood occurred 1,656 years after the creation. And then you can follow on and discover that Abraham was born about 2,000 years after the creation. From Abraham to Jesus is about 2,000 years. We know that scripturally and also from history. And from the time of Jesus to the present day is about 2,000 years. So if you add those up, according to the Bible, and this is not my idea, here we are about 6,000 years after the creation. Now that's a bombshell. I mean, 6,000 years? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, most people would say that.
Yes. And look, I've got to be honest, when I realised that, it really did take my breath away. And I had to say, wow, Lord, there's got to be some evidence of that. But you know there is.
Yes.
There's enormous amounts of evidence for a recent creation.
Yes.
It's just that people don't know about it. But that's the sort of thing which is on our website.
Yeah, that's super interesting to think about. Was the Bible really saying like that the Earth is 6,000 years old? Or was it, I heard Frank Turek say that it says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And then 2 verses later, that's when it starts to talk about day 1. So what if all this heavens and the earth was created way before? I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm trying to do more research and watch more explanations on this. Let's continue.
Feels like, well, big claim, it needs some big support.
Absolutely.
So could you give us some of those? I mean, obviously people can go to the website and they can find out those.
Sure.
Creation.com/age, was it? Or 101?
Yeah. Creation.com/age.
Age, and you can go and see a whole list there.
101 evidences.
Could you just give us a few of them to start us off?
Absolutely. Classes of evidence. There are those which show discordant results with the evolutionary timescales. And then there are those which point closer to just a matter of a few thousand years for Earth history. Now, in the former category, I would think, well, let's take some radiometric dating things first. And maybe might be worth just spending a little bit of time on that because radiometric dates get so much weight put on them in our culture. So what you can do is test how good the dating methods are. Now, in order to do that, you need to have a rock of known age.
So it takes the assumptions away, like earlier we were saying.
Absolutely. So now you've got
you.
your historical record. You see, you know when this rock was formed. How do you get a rock of known age?
Yeah.
Well, a really good way is to take a rock from the lava dome of a volcano with a known eruption date.
Got it. It's just been solidified. So someone saw it. It's a historical record.
That's right. So there's an historical record with a date. So we now know exactly how old the rock is. So people have taken rocks from the lava dome, for instance, of Mount St. Helens. It erupted in 1980. And a rock from the lava dome was dated, various samples, using the potassium-argon dating method. And people got anywhere from 350,000 years to 2.8 million years old.
Wow. And it was only 1980.
Well, yes, and the rocks at the time were about 10 years old.
Yeah, that's insane. I feel like carbon dating, like, what if carbon dating is completely wrong? I don't know. But yeah, I've heard things, how long it takes for wood to petrify. And they found that things could petrify over just a course of years or something, not millions of years, which is a very good point.
Interesting.
And you read in the literature, people say things like, well, dating rocks that are young is notoriously difficult. So now just hang on a minute. Let's just think through that. I've just given you a rock to date, and you're telling me that a young rock is very hard to date, but I don't know if it's young or old. I just know I've got a rock. I want you to tell me, is it young or old? So it's an interesting admission to make, isn't it?
Yeah.
That the dating laboratories themselves say, oh, well, it's pretty hard to date young rocks. But the point is, you shouldn't get such an extraordinary range of very old ages for something which is known to be much younger.
Yeah, got you. So I guess they're kind of saying, hey, look, the amount of daughter element is going to be very low because it's so young. But what you're saying is, well, hang on, surely shouldn't you get the lower end of your range?
Well, yes.
And not this range, because it's 350,000 years to 2.5 million.
And it should be within your error bars of performing the measurement.
Yeah, and they give error bars with these things
Absolutely.
as well. And so
any competent dating laboratory will do exactly that.
Yeah, wow.
So there are a number of others. There's a couple of volcanoes in Hawaii, Kilauea and Hualalai, each of which erupted approximately 200 years ago. Various ranges of ages, anywhere from up to 22 million years, or one was dated between 160 million and 3.3 billion years old, and they're about 200 years old.
So people have done this a lot. It sounds like, I mean, they must be creationists that are going to these sites and they take the rock samples and they send them away to laboratories.
Yeah, but it's not only creationists. I mean, the geologists want to know the ages.
Yes.
And they come across a lava flow somewhere, and they send it off to be dated, usually potassium argon for lava flows. They want to have confidence that these results are good. But if you get unreliable results for things that have a known age, how can you have confidence in the results you get for things of unknown age?
Yeah.
So there's a fundamental dilemma there. But there's something else you can do. You can test different dating methods on things which must be about the same age. So let me give you an example. In Queensland, there's a mine where about 20-something metres down, a drilling discovered a basalt layer from a lava flow, and it had passed through a forest, and there was charred wood still there. So the basalt was dated using potassium argon at 45 million years. The wood was carbon dated at something like 45,000 years, a factor of 1,000 different. But they must be at the same age because the lava has flowed through the forest.
Wow.
So you would think different dating methods should give about the same results. Now, people will say, yeah, but hang on, carbon dating can't go back millions and millions of years. But it gave a date well within the range of its capability and precision. So it should have at least maxed out, if nothing else. But there was carbon-14 present, showing that it could not be millions of years old.
And so you're saying they came back with the carbon date and the error bars, saying that, okay, it's within this. So it's within its calibrate, it's within its level of and so therefore that shows that these methods are not very reliable.
That does seem a little sus. Certain things are in the same area. That doesn't seem very reliable. But also, maybe it's different for testing different fossils or trees. I have no idea. I'm just trying to learn.
Well, it says that, and to be fair, no serious scientist relies solely on a radiometric date.
Right.
For these very reasons, the uncertainty of the assumptions behind them. So geologists, for instance, would always do what they call a field survey. They will look at the layers of rock above and below the relevant sample, and if, for instance, it's above a layer which is generally accepted to be 200 million years old, and one of the results comes back more than 200 million, well, they'd reject that because it's above that layer. So it can't be that old, it must be younger. So there's other data which is brought to bear in interpreting the results.
Okay, yeah.
So when the published results come out, if a date is within what they expect, they'll publish it. If it's not too far out, it might appear as a footnote. But if it's completely whacked, they just drop it. Now, I'm not trying to be critical of scientists because I am one, but what it reveals is how our belief systems work, because we filter all the evidence we get in accordance with what we already believe.
That's very interesting. But I still don't know if using the Bible for chronological order to see how old the earth is, because I don't think that's what the Bible was trying to convey to us. It wasn't trying to say this is exactly how old the earth is. And I believe, in my opinion, the creation story in Genesis, they were writing to help Israel, the Israelites, know how the earth was created. They weren't worried about how old the earth was at that time. So it's very interesting. I would love to keep on studying and learning more about this. So if you have any more videos and things for me that you would like me to react to, I'd love to. So put them in the description. Now I have a Bible verse that will tie all of this together. Genesis 1:1, it says, "In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was formless and empty, and darkness covered the deep waters. The Spirit of God was hovering over the surface of the waters. Then God said, 'Let there be light.'" So maybe, what if you're taking this from an order and you're reading and you see right here that it doesn't say anything about time until verse 3. What if a lot of things happened in between that? "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was formless and empty. Darkness covered the deep waters. The Spirit of God was hovering over the surface of the waters. Then God said, 'Let there be light.' And there was light. And God saw that the light was good, and he separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness night. And evening passed, and morning came, making the first day." God can do anything that he wants. He can speak things into existence, and it will happen, because he is the creator of the universe. He is outside space, time, and matter. Therefore, if he wants to, he can make the earth in 6 days. He can make the universe in 6 days. All things. Anyway, guys, so thank you so much for watching. Please comment down below your thoughts on this, whatever that may be. I'm trying to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so make sure to subscribe. Thank you for all your love and support. It means the world to me. I am so blessed and thankful for all your love and support. Peace.